Saba Filane and Damon Davis's 2017 five-part guerrilla documentary Whose Streets and Dr. Fahamu Pakoy's 2019 short dance film We Can't Cop Cars Without Seeing Cop Cars offer visual cross-representations of protest against police brutality in order to critique America's modern domestic military state. Both explore the concept of black liberation, one through personal interview and the other through interpretive dance. Filane and Davis captured a 2014 year-long community-led protest in Ferguson, Missouri over the state-sanctioned execution of Michael Brown. They begin by highlighting the Plessy versus Ferguson case, showing the way the legal system is constructed to reinforce whiteness while excluding blackness from America's legal rights. They also offer an intergenerational connection by visually manipulating time and showing the parallels between the St. Louis, Missouri case in 1856 and the deaths transpiring in Missouri during 2014. Through juxtaposing archival footage and Twitter messages with mainstream media footage, Filane and Davis radicalize personal narratives and deconstruct the anti-black narratives woven into the capitalist corporate mass media. Through this juxtaposition, we are able to see them directly challenge representational politics' limited role to achieve black liberation under the rule of law.
Bottles of booze come out, a lot of open containers. You see people smoking a little dope, and I hate to keep bringing that up every night, but it really does become part of the mix.
My mother used to tell me nothing good ever happens after midnight.
It was obvious military tactics. Come in, cut off their communications. Do it! Then once we got them under control, had the news people have a combat photographer come in and say, like, hey, look, they going crazy. Yeah, they going crazy because we just cut off their communications and shot a couple of them.
Good evening, everybody. As all of you know, a few minutes ago, the grand jury deliberating the death of Michael Brown issued its decision. There are Americans who agree with it, and there are Americans who are deeply disappointed, even angry. First and foremost, we are a nation built on the rule of law.
Both visual artists use the close-up to convey a mood of intimacy within their visuals. Pako's use of close-ups highlighting his tattoo and fashion allow us to see his Afrocentric iconography within the image. The Africa tattoo using red, black, and green signifies the popular unifying Pan-Africanist movement that came to prominence amongst black nationals in the 1950s with the election of Marcus Garvey. By using this color scheme, Pako is commenting on the necessity for unification within liberating members of the African diaspora from police repression and legal alienation. Similarly, Whose Streets uses close-ups to show the similarities between domestic terror and terrorism abroad and forces us to challenge the ways that we see violence under white nationalist rule. Pako notably uses various layers of sound and deliberately linked Denise Williams' Free with Police Sirens from KRS-One's Sounds of the Police to represent the oppositional nature between policing and freedom, and more specifically, between policing and black liberation. Significantly, the juxtaposition between the freeing choreography and police sonics work together to convey a sense of release from the nation's military-industrial complex. The title Whose Streets ultimately raises significant questions on property. What is public property? Who owns the streets and homes that we occupy? And whose safety and property are the police and the law trying to protect?
The reality is these are our streets. They were built on the backs of our ancestors, so we are going to claim them as long as we want to. We will stay in the streets until we are equal citizens, period.
The title We Can't Cop Cars Without Seeing Cop Cars challenges the ways that blackness has been over-policed due to black autonomy being incompatible with the rule of law. Together, Whose Streets and We Can't Cop Cars Without Seeing Cop Cars both use a transnational and intergenerational approach to address the criminalization and degradation associated with blackness due to the media and law.